Hello everyone and welcome to The Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris, coming to you from Washington, D.C. for the March for Life. During the run-up to the 2008 election that saw Obama snatch the White House, we ran a vortex warning all Catholics that Obama wanted to advance his own form of socialism, and to do it, he needed the Catholic Church neutralized. That particular video, by the way, has been seen over 2 million times on YouTube alone. We've been saying for a few years now that he would use renegade Catholics to accomplish this. We even did a CIA episode called Obama's Counterfeit Catholics, exposing this assault on the faith from the inside for political means. Now, with this last week's announcement from the Department of Health and Human Services, right over my shoulder here, that every single health plan, Catholics most especially, will have to pay for contraceptive services with only the smallest and narrowest of exceptions, Obama is finally revealing all his cards. The woman who made the announcement, none other than a woman who continues to be allowed to call herself Catholic, Kathleen Sebelius. She is the Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services and has a notorious reputation in favor of allowing children to be murdered in the womb. She was one of the biggest cheerleaders for infamous abortionist George the Killer Tiller, who killed children wholesale in their third trimesters in his abortuary in Kansas, where Sebelius was the governor, and the two hosted parties and fundraisers for each other. Sebelius has now become the icon for everything that has gone wrong in the church in America, far surpassing Nancy Pelosi, who is just old now, and Ted Kennedy, who is dead. She is the prototypical American Catholic woman, educated, smart, standing tall amidst all the rubble of the modernism in the church, who either simply rejects the church's teaching or somewhere along the way never had it explained to her sufficiently to understand them. In either case, she is not Catholic in any meaningful, practical sense of the term. But she is not alone. There are hundreds and hundreds of other like-minded traitors to the faith spotted all over government institutions and the broader political world. They've been able to rain down the damage they have on society because they have been allowed to keep calling themselves Catholic and have been left unchecked to work their damage from behind the facade of their phony Catholicism. They have not been called out and dealt with appropriately. This is because they have been, by and large, ignored by the church officialdom, who have operated from the rather naive basis some common ground could be found with these people. What has been ignored is that these people have never wanted to find common ground. They are part of a larger movement of dedicated secularists who simply want a whole new society completely unmoored from its Christian roots, period. Too much tolerance has been shown to these dissenters, and now, with the full force of the federal government behind them, they are finally discarding their masks because they no longer need them. Obama got to power in the first place because a majority of either naive or indifferent or even supporting Catholics voted him in, and they never heard more than a peep from leadership about the evil designs this man had. All they heard was Catholics have to decide on a wide range of issues, each of them moral, and they're equating these intrinsic evils with greenhouse gases. This has now become such a threat to the life of the church in America that even the Holy Father himself recently stepped into the fray. He said just last week, quote, "It is imperative that the entire Catholic community in the United States come to realize the grave threats to the church's public moral witness presented by a radical secularism which finds increasing expression in the political and cultural spheres. The seriousness of these threats needs to be clearly appreciated at every level of ecclesial life," end quote. That would include the levels of ecclesial life where Catholic dissidents have been able to roam free on university campuses and in religious orders and diocese after diocese, sponsoring or allowing talks by heretic and heterodox groups, by crazy theology being taught in seminaries far and wide, etc. The battle is now being fought here in Washington, D.C. because it was lost in the nation's diocese. Perhaps the silver lining in all of this may be that at last the leadership will wake up and realize what has been allowed to fester in their own backyard is the real issue that needs addressing. The question needs to be seriously asked without killing the messengers: how have we come to this point? God love you. I'm Michael Voris.